Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. I just got back from 3 days of trying to stand up foil in the San Diego area, and I went through a bunch of different experiences and I want to tell you guys about those. And so I'm going to give you my top 3 things that I learned on my first session of stand-up foiling in the waves. Here we go. Okay, tip number 1. What you learn behind the boat, while it can be helpful, doesn't necessarily translate to the ocean. So last week I had my first session getting pulled behind the boat, and I got up and I got flying and I started to do turns, and I felt good. I felt like, okay, it's time to take it out into the ocean. Wow, what a difference that I noticed once I got into the waves. I was surfing 2-foot little mush balls, and it was crazy what a different experience it is between riding behind a boat and actually being on the waves. The kind of an analogy I think of is like, it's the difference between like cross-country skiing on like a real flat surface versus going downhill over moguls. The reason I say that is because when you're getting pulled behind the boat, especially if you're over to one side in the green water, then the water's really smooth. Especially the day I went out, the water was like super smooth, right? And so it's not dynamic at all. It's a flat surface that you are learning on. Whereas in the ocean, you have waves, and waves have peaks and they have troughs. And so learning to navigate those peaks and troughs while you're flying the foil is a lot trickier than I expected. And so while getting pulled behind the boat is helpful, and I recommend that everybody do it, and I actually look forward to doing it again myself, you're not gonna have exactly the same experience when trying to fly a foil in the ocean. Lesson number 2. Stand-up foiling, or just foil boarding in general, is very dangerous, and you're gonna crash a lot. So earlier we were talking about how the waves have peaks and troughs. Well, if you imagine a 2-foot wave, and then you add on top of that a 2-foot foil mast, now you're 4 feet above the water flying. So when you fall and you crash, it's a 4-foot drop onto the water, and you're going really fast. So those crashes hurt, all right? So in order to kind of protect myself from these falls and making contact with the board during wipeouts, I got an impact vest. This particular vest, it's made by NP. I got it on eBay. I think I spent like 40 bucks on it. It's the Rise. I'm not vouching for this. I don't know who they are. I don't have anything good or bad to say about it other than it probably kept me from bruising my ribs, because a couple of times when I fell, the board would do like a kick flip and I would come down on the rail of the board. I did make contact with the foil a couple times. So the impact vest definitely helps. I wish that I had brought a helmet. There were several times when I went flying through the air and I landed in the water and I was like, oh man, that hurt. And I thought several times about putting a helmet on. I don't know how I feel about going out into a lineup wearing a helmet like this. It feels silly. I've never done it before. But it might be something I just need to get over and do, because it's probably the smart thing to do. So as you can see in this clip here, I really bruised my leg badly. That happened when I fell off the board and I came in contact with the rail, because again, the board flipped on its side and my thigh came down on the rail. So big bruises. It's a contact sport, learning how to foil surf. You're gonna make contact with the water, that's gonna hurt. You're gonna make contact with your equipment, that's gonna hurt. And so do everything you can to be safe. And that leads us to number 3, which is arguably the most important, is do not learn to foil surf near other people. And I would go as far as to say, don't even do it near other foil surfers, okay? My first weekend in the water, my first 3 sessions, I was a danger to myself and I was a danger to others, okay? If anyone was within a vicinity of me and my leash, they were in jeopardy of getting hurt, okay? So I would never, ever recommend that anyone do this anywhere near another person. I was at a very popular beach in San Onofre, and when you go to the very end of the beach, it's kind of where they let like the stand-up paddlers go and the surf kayakers and kind of some of the more experimental craft. I went 200 yards past that, and if some of the stand-up paddlers started to drift down a little bit, I went down further. I had miles of beach and I just kept moving south just to make sure I wasn't near anybody. And so I can't tell you how uncontrollable these boards are when you're first learning. They're unpredictable, and when you get up flying, it's a weird sensation, and you don't know what the wave is going to do, and you don't know how the board and the foil is going to react to the energy of the ocean. So while you're learning, please stay away from people, protect yourself, protect others, and protect the sport of foiling. We don't want this thing to start getting regulated. So those are the top 3 things that I learned. I will give you this takeaway. I had the most fun 3 days in the water that I can remember. I've been stand-up paddling for 10 years. I used to surf before that, and the feeling you get when you're flying across the wave, even if it's for 1 second or 3 seconds or 5 seconds, is incredible. I'm so excited about this sport. I'm excited to learn more, and I think it's gonna be really fun. So stay tuned. The next video, I am going to show you how I attempt to take a stand-up paddleboard on a Southwest flight from Phoenix to San Jose. I'm gonna head over to Santa Cruz this weekend where my wife is, and I'm gonna do some more stand-up paddling there. So I'm gonna try to get the board and the foil onto a flight, and I'm gonna show you how I pack the board and how I'm gonna just take my cell phone in the airport with me and document me going through the airport, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get on an airplane. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, comments, any tips for a beginner, I am all ears. If you guys have more experience at this, and I'm sure you do, please send any love you can. And I want to thank you guys for checking it out, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, have fun out there. Bye.